Morning, God first. It's been an interesting summer and a fun summer. Hope you managed to get a rest, whether you were away or whether you stayed at home. Hope you managed to get a rest. It's been a good summer in the Kellett household. My daughter Damaris has got engaged to her boyfriend Sam, who she met at Bristol Uni, and they're going to get married next year. My son Jotham's got a job in Bracknell, which is ironically where my wife Naomi grew up. But he's going to live in Reading, and he moved out just over a week ago to Reading, and so that's been fun. And my team, Leeds United, promoted to the Premier League. So hey, what a great summer for me. I hope you've had a fun summer, and if you've had a tough summer, do get in touch with us, and we'd love to help you through any challenges you've had. But you can tell it's September coming, because here's an update from the leaders, God First, for you, and so hopefully we're going to cover a few things. I'm going to talk about food, I'm going to talk about Sundays, and I'm going to talk about maybe meeting for a picnic and a few bits and pieces. Anyway, so so I do believe September is an important time to reconnect together as a church. I think that COVID and lockdown has scattered us. And then the holidays increasingly scatter us, so we've connected less and less and less. Our small groups have not been meeting, our G1C has not been meeting, we've not met on Sundays. I know the numbers of people watching on Sundays, YouTube channels has gone down, and that's fine. I understand that's the summer, but I think September, I'd love you to re-energize and connect again. We're hoping to make that fresh in a way for you to reconnect, both on the YouTube channel and then hopefully live on Sundays as we progress into the autumn. But the first thing I want to talk to you about is food. It's actually 10 years since God First began meeting on Sunday mornings, and we've been gathering for about 11 years informally. And what we did in those first 2 or 3 years is eat together. We ate together a lot. In fact, I remember in the early days, everyone would come around my house on Sundays and eat with Naomi and I. And then once we started on Sunday mornings, we would all pile back, 20, 30, 40 of us all pile back to my house and eat together. And so eating has really been part of what we do, and not just because it's a nice thing to do, but actually the Gospel of Luke, the Gospels are full of stories of meals with Jesus. Jesus ate with his followers to express their belonging, their shared belonging together, their shared sense of family and community. Jesus had meals with people, and in those meals that was a context for discipleship, and meals were also Jesus' missional strategy. Jesus said himself, the Son of Man came eating and drinking. And so meals with Jesus and meals are part of what it means to be a church community, part of what it means to be a gospel community. And meals with Jesus were never an exclusive social enclave. It was never just you and your people of your type and your interest group. Jesus always reached out beyond. He reached out to the lost and the lowest and the lonely. He constantly shocked the religious insiders and the wealthy elite by including the outsiders and the excluded. So here's the thing. We're not able to gather as a whole church on Sundays, but we are able to eat together as two household bubbles. So I feel that this is an opportunity to say, let's reconnect over meals. So the plan is once a fortnight, two households get together to watch our online Sundays at the new time of 10:30 rather than 10, because if we're going to eat together afterwards, 10 feels too early. So the new time of 10:30, which is when we used to meet when we're in the flesh, we'd watch the online Sunday, and then we might do it as part of the YouTube thing, but probably after that, to sit down at the table, maybe 15 minutes before the food is served, and break bread together almost as a way of starting the meal to say grace. What we know that if you start to break bread together when somebody's worked really hard and served food and it's all going cold while we're all praying for each other and stuff, that kind of doesn't work. So we want to break bread together maybe 10-15 minutes before the food's served, then all get up and help whoever's hosting to serve lunch and then eat it together. And then over lunch, something we've done over years at God First, and I think it's really brilliant, is to share those 10-minute stories of our life stories. And I know that you know that if you've never sat down with a particular person and they're really new to you, that 10-minute story can be a great way to kind of break the ice and really connect. And even if you know people really well and you're eating with them, then 10-minute stories can be a really good way to get some depth into the conversation and create that kind of community and discipleship moments. So, starting on the 6th of September, so not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, the 6th of September, we'd like everybody, I stress everybody, who calls God First their church to host or be hosted in one of these meals. The meals definitely don't need to be fancy cuisine. It's more about the connecting than it is about the food. So it's not fancy cuisine. It's not come dine with me, checking how people's cuisine, how it mixes your thing. So don't be afraid to take in a turn to host. If you'd like to host and you think, man, finances might be a challenge, then do give me a shout. So what we'll do is on our website, godfirst.org.uk, on the events page, which has got nothing on it at the moment, we'll create a meals together sign-ups, and there you'll be able to indicate whether you want to host or be hosted on a particular Sunday. You'll be able to indicate how many of you are in your household, and you'll be able to put dietary observations. And then Joe Moat is going to coordinate it for us. But as a staff team, we're going to carefully put together hosts and those being hosted. Now, I know that you'd probably like to do that yourselves. And in one sense, you can do that. On the other Sundays, if you want to do that with people that you're super close to, the people you've already had around for dinner, people you already know, then do that on the other Sundays. But on the Sundays where we're doing these meals together, connecting, then what we want to try and do is create some cohesion. You might be eating with people you don't know very well. Hopefully you're not going to be saying, I have no clue who you are, or as people come round. So we're going to try and do that. And we're going to try to do that really carefully. So that we'll try to look at how chemistry might work and put people together. So it's not just going to be you eating with your God First community or your best buddies. And I know that might feel hard for you, but that is not a reason not to be involved. It is not a reason not to be involved. First of all, God First, people always say to me, God First is full of great people. And when you meet people you don't know, you're going to think, man, that was great. I feel enlarged. I know that we have new people around. Naomi and I often have new people to the church round. We've got a couple of people coming this week for food who we have never met before. I don't know. And they're coming round, and we always feel like, wow, that was great. We never feel like, man, that was hugely costly, and what on earth was that all about? We always feel. So God First is great people, and it's going to be okay. But there's a second and probably more important thing that church, as Jesus demonstrated, is not a collection of socially compatible enclaves. No, that church has always been much more broad than that. It's actually not a socially compatible enclaves. It's a family where the Bible describes us as brothers and sisters with each other. So I would hope that you would be willing to sit down and share food with anybody who's part of God First. So what we'll do is we'll make sure that we'll express our togetherness. I found it in my notes. 6th and 20th of September, those Sundays, we'll need to do that. Now, you're not going to be, although hospitality is interesting, it means eating with strangers or welcoming strangers. We're actually, to be in this hosting or hosted, you need to be on the Church Suite address database. And so if you've been if you've been looking in on God First and you want to do this, or then the reality is you'll need to be part of a Church Suite. So we're going to create an event called Join Church Suite, and that will, if you go on the events page, godfirst.org.uk events, click Join Church Suite, that will lead you through the process, and there'll be a form for you to fill in. That'll go to Christopher, who runs our integration, and he will get in contact with you and put you on Church Suite so that you can play. So you're not going to be it's not just any randomers, it's going to be people that we know and have talked to. Okay, and then to underline and embed this eating together for the Sundays in September, the 4 Sundays in September, the online church is going to be having a preaching series we're working title Meals with Jesus, where we're going to talk about how Jesus built community and made disciples and reached out in mission over meals. So this Sunday coming, last one in August, I'm going to talk about William Wilberforce. That's going to be a fresh look on slavery and the abolition of slavery under our Heroes series. And then we're going to pause that and we're going to come back to some of our other heroes that we plan to do later on. But to really our big push in September, and I want you all to be involved, is to say, right, we're going to do these meals. Please don't opt out. I mean, I want you to express your membership, your belonging, your being part of us by saying, I'm in. Please do that. I want to see loads of sign-ups. I want to see everybody who calls God First their church sign up for that. So please do that. And please don't say, oh, this feels like legalism, you're telling me what to do. No, we're just encouraging you as your leaders to say this would be a great thing to do. So do this with me. Now let me say just a few words about Sundays in terms of meeting together embodied or enfleshed, face to face on Sundays. At present, our venues at Cheltenham Ladies College are not open to us. And currently, if they do open, they're telling us that we'll be allowed a maximum of 30 people. There'll be no kids' work. We'd have the band, there's no singing. It feels like there's a number of obstacles to getting together. So what we've decided, if the current restrictions of 30 remain, even if the parabola opens, we wouldn't do a Sunday. But we are hoping that there's going to be a relaxing of those restrictions. So the reality is those numbers push up towards 40 or 50, then we think, yeah, this is it, game on. We'll look at putting our Sundays back in. And particularly important to have the opportunity to use the breakout classrooms to do kids' work in their kind of consistent bubbles. Now, the type of things that we do on Sundays might be changing, because if you can't sing, there's no point doing 25 minutes of worship. But we might find a way, and I had a really good discussion with the musicians team to talk about have a more contemplative style of worship where there's space and silence and time to receive and maybe read scriptures and bring prophetic words and stuff like that. So we are looking at that. However, what we're doing is we want to be ready if the rules change. So what we're hoping to do is planning for the first Sunday in October, 4th of October, with a change of guidelines and the parabola available again, and increased capacity and chance to have socially distanced kids' work bubbles. We're good to go from the 4th of October, if restrictions allow, into meeting together face to face. Now, all that is a way of saying that actually we need to now recreate our serving teams. So ready for the 4th of October. In fact, we may not have the go light on the 4th of October, but the reality is we want to be ready. So we want to put rotas in place from that date. Now, the reality is that the staff team is going to be in touch about rotas. Teams are going to need to be smaller because numbers are smaller. And our hope is that we'll be in touch with you. And if you're hoping to come face-to-face Sundays at the Parabola Arts Centre, we'd love you to pick up again and begin to serve in some capacity or other once a month. And then lastly, I've been looking at the weather, and Naomi and I have been looking at the weather, and Adam Stanton, who's in our household at the moment, he's broken his arm, by the way, so do reach out to him. He was on a mountain bike. Went off the mountain bike, did a Sam Shucksmith, and went over the handlebars, and he's broken his wrist, so he's in a plaster. So just reach out to him. But we're planning to go to Pittville Park this Sunday from around 12, just after 12, and have a picnic just below, on the grass, just below the bandstand. And I chatted to my friend Christopher and Lorette, and they said, oh yeah, we'll probably do that. We'll get a mat and do that. 2 households, you can do that kind of outside. But this would be interesting. Wouldn't it be a really random? I'm not organising this, but it wouldn't be really random if everybody thought, or a number of you thought, yeah, that'd be a lovely Sunday. This Sunday, 30th of August, would be a lovely day for a picnic. I might take myself to Pittville Park just below the bandstand and put down my mat and eat my picnic. And it would be a really lovely surprise for us to bump into a whole bunch of you from God First. That would be fun. So do that. So, meals, please, please, please sign up. Let's press in. This could be life-changing to the culture of the church. Sundays, say yes to rotas. Just tell us if you're looking to come once we meet, and let's believe that God's going to do something fresh with us, particularly in this space of contemplative worship and chance to have testimonies and prophetic words, to have more space because we can't sing. So please say yes to rotas, and please say yes to coming if you can. And lastly, if you happen to be in Pittville Park just after 12 this Sunday, hey, it'd be really random to bump into you. Bless you guys. Take care.